Okay, go.
Okay, sorry. I was going to tell you she wanted to do this in the car, and she made me promise not to tell you. I'm like, but he probably wants to know. And she's like,
no!
All right, so we're doing it.
Daddy.
So where is it?
Right here.
All right. So, what is the background color?
Kind of like a treasure.
All right. Are there numbers at the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 4, but no symbol.
All right. What's in the picture?
In the picture, there's like water with little bits of rocks in them, and then there's a boat. There's the sky, and like there's a moon coming up. And then there's like a land with a palm tree.
Okay. Does it look like it's daytime or nighttime or
night?
All right.
Probably the sun's going down day.
Okay. And are there numbers at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay.
2/10.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, that's the
Conqueror's Galleon.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's it. She's been loving the double face, as we all have. So she wanted that. She was debating up until the last minute between the Conqueror's Galleon and Vance's blasting cannons.
Boom.
Boom. So, all right. It is way past your bedtime. Say night-night to these guys.
Night.
Night, Sam.
Night.
All right. I'll be right back.
See you guys next Sam quiz.
Well, that's so adorable. I have to go throw up now. Oh, jam! Hello again, and welcome to the Mana Pool. Welcome back to the Mana Pool. I know we only missed 1 week as far as you listeners are concerned, but we actually haven't recorded in 2 weeks, and it's really weird.
That's a long time for us.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
I was missing my fix.
Right? I haven't talked to Mike in forever. I forgot what Dirk's name was.
Bob.
Dirk.
Oh yeah, Dirk's name is Bob. I forgot. So, yeah, this is episode 481 of the Mana Pool. I am Chewie, and I'm the lead dork, and I'm happy to be back. It's nice. And with me, as always, are these other dorks.
I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler, tangent master guy, and I am very happy to be back and happy to be home and happy to make it here, because for a while there it was a little touch and go. But huzzah, huzzah, I say.
He did. I heard him.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. I am also happy to be here. I've missed these guys, so it's good to be back.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive in Moral Comps the group, and I'm also happy to be back. It's been a long time since I got to talk to the dorks.
Yay.
Yay.
So, how do we want to do this? We didn't actually discuss this before recording.
Of course we
sort of did.
Okay, we didn't actually discuss this once Brian showed up.
Well, what did you guys decide?
We didn't.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we are professionals here. Why don't we get started with talking about our pre-releases, Chewie, and then we can do that other quick feature to try and tie everybody in and get everybody invested, and then we'll go into our discussion regarding the set and particular cards to finish up.
So we're going to talk about the set and then do something else and then go back to the set.
Or would you rather group the pre-releases and that other?
Yeah, let's do a Mad Lib.
Let's do a Mad Lib. All right, that's fine.
We are very professional here. Damn it.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna do a Mad Lib. We haven't done a Mad Lib in a little bit. Everybody knows how that works. If you don't, I am going to name specific things that they have to provide an example of. For example, the first one I'm going to name is creature type, and someone will shout out the first creature type from a magic card they could think of. I will write it down in this space, and when we're done, I will read the story as these dorks have written it. It will be hilarious. So, gentlemen, give me a creature type.
Vampire.
All right.
Topical.
Give me a sorcery.
Fireball.
Give me an artifact.
Commander's Galleon? Is that what it's called?
Conqueror's Galleon.
Conqueror's Galleon. That's an artifact, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know things.
Commander's Galleon is our one preview card for next year.
Yeah, right.
Give me another artifact.
No.
Treasure map.
Give me a creature.
Fungasaur.
Give me a guild or clan name.
The Boros Legion.
Look at you being all proper.
All right. Give me an instant.
Mental Misstep.
Give me a sorcery.
Is that an instant?
It's a counterspell, isn't it an instant?
Oh, I'm
Pretty
thinking of
much
something.
have to
I'm thinking of something completely different.
All right. So
For some, I thought a mental note. That's what I thought of.
I'm trying to think of how that would work. Counter the next spell your opponent plays before your next turn.
Oh, it turns out
Please.
mental note is an instant too, so I was just wrong. Okay.
Give me a sorcery.
Walk the plank.
Oh, God, my head.
Give me an instant.
Mental note.
I figured.
We'll make a mental note of that.
Give me an aura.
Oh, what's the one? Galvanic Arc. Is that what it's called?
Sounds right.
You know, the one that gives
Red?
first strike and has a lightning bolt
And
attached?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. I love Galvanic Arc.
Is that what it's
Sounds
called?
broken. to me.
Galvanic Arc. Give me a creature.
Raging Goblin.
It is called Galvanic Arc.
Yeah, you had it right.
Huh.
Give me a sorcery.
Oh my God. You and your
It's not
Scorching
mental note.
missile.
Scorching missile.
Oh wow.
And Dirk's got the
I've
card
slipped
image
into the
gallery
random
open.
card generator.
Oh, I thought you were just looking at the Ixalan previews. So that's what it sounded like for a while.
Scorching
give-
Missile. That was from Odyssey or
Yeah,
something,
that was
right?
from
Oh,
Odyssey.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that one in my mind now. Okay. Give me an artifact.
Pyramids.
Like pyramid power.
Wait, is that
Yeah.
a Legends card?
No.
I mean, an Arabian Nights card, rather?
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense. That's interesting. I'm just going to tell you because I was actually going to have to pluralize whatever you put down. So, good job.
Wow.
I am not saying pyramids is though. Give me an instant.
Broken visage.
I was going to say, I've completely blanked.
Give
Oh,
me an
Broken
enchantment.
Visage. That's a good one. Such a bizarre-ass card.
Give me an enchantment, please.
Oh, wait, I had one I was going to say when you came up with enchantment. The one, hang on, the red rare enchantment from Ixalan. Hang on. Sunbird's Invocation.
Oh, that's a good one. That's gonna be one of my cards for tonight.
Ooh.
Mine too.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Maybe we should have, discussed this at a time. But anyway, give me an artifact.
Mike's turn?
Mirror Enforcer.
I like mine better.
Yeah, me too.
Mirror Enforcer. That's with a Y. Not that it matters, but that was bugging me. I was like, how do you... All right, give me a black enchantment.
Greed.
Give me a red enchantment.
Already did.
You actually did, didn't you? So,
Pyrohemia.
Is that the red pestilence?
I think so.
Yay, I remember things. Sort of.
give me a cog, an artifact that convert mana cost of 1 or less.
Leonin Scimitar.
Ah.
Give me an artifact.
It's too many artifacts.
This will make sense when we're going through it.
I'm sure it will.
I'm realizing
many.
this one's actually one of the longer ones that I've done. I'm
Oh,
probably
God.
making up for lost time.
Icy
So-
Manipulator. Yeah.
That was not a hint to give me long names.
I was going to say that one earlier, and I didn't.
Give me an instant.
Back to nature? Is that what that's called? Back to...
I don't know.
Yes, it is. Back to nature.
What's back to nature?
A green and 1, destroy all enchantments.
Oh, yeah.
It's the not naturalized.
Tranquility. That's
Tranquility.
cheaper.
Yeah.
It's an instant?
Yep.
Jesus.
Give me another instant.
Heal the scars.
Heal the scars.
Mm-hmm.
I am not familiar with that one.
I have to look that one up.
Common Lorwyn. Regenerate target creature. You gain life equal to that creature's toughness.
Oh, that's cool. All right, give me an aura.
Ghostly wings.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I can see the art. It just popped into my head. How'd you do that, Mike?
It's had 2 printings, right?
Yes.
One in Odyssey block and one... Not
Yeah, 1 in Torment and then 1 in, like, the recent Innistrad block.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm looking. Shadows, yeah. And 1 in Torment.
An instant, please.
That's not an instant.
Boomerang.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's one of my old standbys.
Yeah, Dirk does love himself a boomerang. I mean, what doesn't it do?
Yeah, and like every time he plays it, I'm like, God, why don't I put Boomerang in my deck? That was so awesome.
Stupid, but so good.
I know.
Give me a sorcery.
Repentance.
Nope, gotta look that one up.
You recognize it when you see it.
Give me an equipment.
Oh, yeah. Give you a what? I'm sorry?
Equipment.
I almost said Smuggler's Copter. Like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, I almost said that too. That's eerie. What's the one? Batterskull. That's the one.
Yeah.
What's that one that's broken that everyone hates?
You mean all the cards?
Funny, because equipment, lends itself to that, doesn't it? Because you can name 5 others that do that. Give me a color of magic.
Not purple.
Oh, I like that. I like not purple. Green.
Purple is the 6th color. Confirmed. Along with Half-Life 12. All right. Give me another cog.
It's our squeeze toy.
Oh, I like Squee. He does Monday Night Magic with me.
Squeezed toy. Sorcery.
For some reason, I'm stuck on Boomerang effects now when he asks for spells.
What's the original green fight spell? Because it was a sorcery.
Damn it.
Prey on the wheat? No.
Is it prey upon?
Prey upon. Prey
yeah,
upon.
there we go.
Prey upon.
Wait, is prey upon a?
It's a sorcery.
Yeah. Now
Right,
give me
right.
Now give me an instant.
Hydrolash.
What?
Hydro lash. To lash someone with water.
It's from Origins. Oh.
Give me a step or phase of the turn. It's not Mike's turn.
Okay, fine. Dirk's turn.
Draw.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's one of my favorite steps or phases of the turn.
Is it technically the draw step?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a vehicle.
Smuggler's Copter. Hey, we got there. Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Give me a red sorcery.
Is Urza's Rage a sorcery?
I think it might be an instant.
We'll go with Fireball.
You already said
We used that
fireball.
earlier.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the longer ones we've done, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, Urza's Rage is an instant. Lame. I forgot what we were looking for already. Is
A
that
red
sorcery.
There's only like 1 million of them. Sorceries is kind of something that red does a lot of.
Rift Bolt is a sorcery, right? Yeah.
Yes.
It is, although, you don't actually get it during your main phase.
Details.
I mean, sometimes you do.
Sometimes. Give me an equipment.
Pirate's Cutlass.
Yar.
I kind of got distracted thinking about, if you actually cast Riftbolt during your main phase, it's kind of like you're giving it haste.
But what if it costs 2 more? Give me a blue sorcery.
Blue doesn't have sorceries.
Eye of Nowhere.
You and your
Like-
boomerangs.
Yeah, that was one that was on my mind earlier.
You said you were stuck on boomerang effects, and I asked for a sorcery, and I almost just said it anyway. And I'm like, no, I figured.
Yeah.
Give me an artifact.
I can't.
Energizer.
What, like the bunny?
That's what I thought.
That's
Give
part of
me-
the joke, yeah.
Give me a white or black sorcery.
Well, that's random. Wait, can it be both?
Sure, as long as it's at least one of those two things.
I can't remember any white and black sorceries off the top of my head. What? Oh no, that's black green. What's the one that's not? That's an instant. Crap. Like more. I was thinking mortify. Is that an instant?
That's an instant.
Balls. What about
What's that
vindicate?
one
That's
with-
a sorcery, right?
Yeah, Vindicate's a sorcery.
Yeah. Got there.
Vindicate.
Winning.
All right, getting there.
I don't
Instant.
believe you.
I mean, I can just keep naming things and see if you guys ever catch on. After like a half an hour, you're gonna be like, "Wait, what?" But no, we're almost there. I need an instant though.
Wild Size.
Oh, that's
Give
good.
me an artifact.
Barl's Cage.
Barrel's Cage.
Yeah.
Give me a red instant.
Red doesn't have instants.
Lightning bolt.
Ah.
Classic. Give me a green instant.
Mike already took the good one.
We'll go with. Go ahead.
Oh, wait a minute. Silhouette.
That's it. What?
Silhouette. I don't even know if I can spell that.
I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna write it so that
Oh, wait.
I know what
Wait a
it
minute.
is.
I might be getting that wrong.
That's blue.
Never mind. Silhouette's blue.
Man, making me
It's in
scratch it
my
now.
head, it had the green frame and everything, and completely different rules text. I wonder what I was thinking.
But did it have that art?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so you're just high. Got it.
Yeah.
Is it Clash? Is that one?
No.
That's a mechanic.
Clash?
I don't. Yeah, it's not a card.
Okay.
Wait,
We're
what's
almost
the
there,
question?
guys.
Instant.
Green
green instant.
Green instant.
Green instant. Oh god, this is hard. We already did
Wild size.
That's like the best one.
What's the one that's got the werewolf on it, and your creature fights that creature?
I don't know.
Prey upon.
Prey upon. Prey upon's a sorcery, and we already used that.
Oh,
Are you thinking there's another one?
I thought there was. Never mind.
Ooh,
We'll go
what
with
about?
fog.
Yeah, we'll go with fog. That's a good one.
Fog.
Can't go wrong with fog.
All right, I need a sorcery.
Duh.
I've got one, but I don't remember how to say it. It's PHTHISIS.
Oh, Tysus.
I call it Phthisis, even though I know that's wrong.
I'm gonna call it Tysis for the purpose of this because the spelling is not as important as the words that are coming out of my mouth. So everybody knows that's that one. That's that crazy good removal spell from Time Spiral, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute.
God,
Wait a
I-
minute. Hey, listeners, this is how dictionary.com pronounces it.
Physis.
Wait, what?
Physis.
Physis. Oh.
Physis. Physis.
Although, wait, the second pronunciation has the H missing. So it's either
I'm-
Thysis or Tysis. Yeah.
We're going with Physis for this. Give me an instant.
You and your instants and artifacts.
Silhouette.
Oh my god.
And finally, give me an artifact.
No. Someone else do it. I'm out.
Go with Dark Still Colossus.
Buh.
Good one.
That is a great
Big
way
finish.
Don't even screw around, Dirk. Dirk's like, wham,
All right.
suck it.
to. Okay. So the name of this is now I've revealed the name of it, and they can go. What did we get ourselves into? It is step by step.
Day by day.
Okay.
Congratulations! You are now the proud vampire of your very own fireballing Conqueror's Galleon, the latest state-of-the-art treasure map from the leading fungosaurs at Boros Corporation. While we would like to mental misstep you for your walk the plank of our product, you'll soon be mental noting yourself for your purchase.
Yeah, you will.
As you already know, this product is the hands down best way to galvanic arc your raging goblins.
You know, I've been looking for a better way to galvanic arc my raging goblins.
And scorching missile any problems with pyramids. Before you can get down to broken visaging, however, there is the Sunbird's invocation matter of assembly. This mere enforcer will guide you through the process with minimal greed and maximum pyrokemia.
That is a great sales pitch.
First, consult the Leonin Scimitar of Parts. Make sure that all listed icy manipulators are back to natured. You should be able to heal the scars each part by its ghostly wing. Please boomerang us if anything is repentancing. Next, locate all batter skulls. They will be in green squeeze toys. Carefully prey upon them together, being sure not to hydrolash them too much.
Oh my god.
If this takes longer than one draw step, stop. The result should resemble a small smuggler's copter. Next, Rift Bolt 2 Pirate's Cutlasses. Please eye of nowhere that we have included extra energizers if you happen to accidentally vindicate.
That's very good.
At this point, all that remains is to wild size the assembled Barrel's cages. Just remember not to lightning bolt if it looks too fog. With that done, Pisces and Silhouette, your new Darksteel Colossus. So it's supposed to be assembly instructions. Yes. But
remember, don't lightning bolt if it looks too fog.
Yeah. There's some good ones here. Scorching Missile, any problems with pyramids?
Pretty sure the problem with pyramids was, wasn't that a... I was going to have some sort of joke there, but it fell off.
That sounds like a children's book.
Yeah, the subtitle to some sort of book.
Nancy Drew and the Problem with Pyramids.
Yeah. I think Encyclopedia Brown was the one that popped into my head, but it fell off before it made it to my mouth.
There you go.
Or it's
Apparently
a
they
Rick
weren't,
Riordan book that has about, I was at a pyramid when those missiles came a-coming, or something like that. It will be a chapter name.
And just remember not to hydrolash all of your batter skulls too much.
Mental note.
And every time I've assembled something, I definitely want to get through the process with minimal greed and maximum pyrohemia.
That, I think, that was my favorite one.
You can't do it with minimal pyrohemia, otherwise why bother?
Yeah, it's definitely.
You want to put on one of your knockaround shirts for that step.
And now I'm amused by the fact that Mike has just said knock around shirt.
And yet I knew what he meant.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, good job. I thought that was good. Hope you enjoyed your first Mad Lib in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Now I wish there was a card called Knock Around Shirt.
Wizard, send us an email.
You guys got to get on that.
We got pirates. Pirates wear knock around shirts, right? Make it some equipment. Come on, man. Damn. So
So
Pre-release.
pre-release. Chewie and I went to some.
I went to one.
You went to one. So shall we start with that one? And then I'll go over the other one real quick. Let's talk about the one that people are more interested in, which is the one that we went to together.
Yay! I'm
Together.
trying to find. Here's the pictures of our decks. Okay. So yeah, we did a two-headed giant pre-release.
Oh, yeah.
Because, that's a thing we hadn't done
In a long time.
in an age of man.
And Chewie was telling people about the beanies. And I was like, yeah, I remember the beanies.
I've still got my beanie. Brian lost his.
Yeah, I'm not
in
sure
a
what
move
mine is.
somewhere. But
It was a move. I've moved at least once since then, if not twice. It's been a while. For those
sure,
that
you
aren't-
moved like 3 times since then.
At least
For
3,
that-
yeah.
For those that aren't aware, because they're wee youngins, there was a time before Modern existed that Wizards was kind of looking for another format to promote. People like Standard okay, but they were looking for something else to get people excited. And for one reason or another, I couldn't tell you the exact reason, I guess, the motivation, they decided to really push Two-Headed Giant and had like sanctioned Two-Headed Giant tournaments and stuff.
And most of them were limited formats, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think all the sanctioned ones were at least the big ones that we heard about. Because
Right.
constructed two-headed giant just sounds miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds broken.
And I think they knew that and said, ho, 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 yeah. So Chewie and I used to go to these, and we actually did pretty well. We weren't like setting the world on fire, but we were holding our own, I think.
Yeah, man.
Won all sorts of prizes, including promo. Like, remember those promo Underworld Dreams? Those are sweet. I definitely still have that. And then at
Yeah,
one point,
yeah.
we won a tournament and got beanies. Or we came in second. It was one of these things where we literally went undefeated, but came in second due to tiebreakers. Just the way the tournament worked. And we got beanie.
Yeah, man. Which, when it gets cold, I still wear my two-headed giant beanie.
Yeah.
Because I'm a
So-
big dork.
But then we just stopped doing them for a while for reasons. One of the reasons being that Wizards stopped pushing it so much and started pushing other formats. And then, a lot of pre-releases have two-headed giant, but it's hard enough for Chewie and I to try to be in the same place at the same time for a lot of these anyway. And then to try and do a format like that can be tough. So we had not done it in many a moon. So it was nice to get together and do it again. Yo.
Yeah, it was.
So
we
Got
go to
there.
Lucky's.
Yep.
And we crack open our nonsense. And it becomes clear relatively quickly that we've got a blue-black pirate deck and a red-green dinosaur deck.
Yep.
Because, we had a few merfolk, but not enough to go, anywhere. They were all, the low-cost
Mhm.
explorer dudes. And there were a couple that, give a merfolk +1/+1 until end of turn. And we were like, yeah, okay.
And the hexproof put a +1/+1 counter on a Merfolk, but he can easily give it to himself. And again, it's not enough to really push the theme. So
Not that themes were necessary, but as you'll see,
No.
the rest of the cards were just better.
right.
And we had a few vampires,
Mhm.
and I can't remember. Did you end up playing any vampires? I don't think we had any that were just worth it.
I don't think we did.
Our white was kind of lame.
Our white was the lane. It was not the worst you've ever seen, but it just had nothing exciting going on. And I think you summed it up pretty well when you said there were better options,
Yeah.
So I ended up piloting the pirate deck, and I started with the pirates, but then Chewie pointed out, how do you put it? It's not a contest for the best themed decks, and I had been a bit of a slave to the pirate theme, but I backed off a little bit. I made sure to include at least 1 or 2 copies of the Merfolk or the Elemental that has Flying and Flash, because that's always cool.
Yeah.
And some other things, because we had a couple of tribal cards, but not enough, again, that we felt like we didn't get an Admiral Beckett brass or anything like that says, hey, play lots of pirates. So Just a couple cards that rewarded you here and there. And
Yeah.
I felt like our mana fixing was fairly decent. Chewie had in his deck
The thematic compass.
the thematic compass, and
Because my deck was fairly top heavy.
yeah, and I had a is it treasure map, the one that flips over in Treasure Cove? Yeah.
You also had a Field of Ruin. Like, we knew we
Yes.
wanted to play the Field of Ruin because, sure, so in Two-Headed Giant, Field of Ruin says, 2 tap and sacrifice it, destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. Each player goes to get a basic land, puts it on the battlefield. So that
Right.
means that for the person who used the Field of Ruin and for the person whose land was targeted, you both break even. But
Right.
for each other player, it's a ramp.
Yes.
And since my
which we
deck
use at
needed
least-
lots of mana,
Yeah.
Brian put that in his deck.
And as we used in at least one game, I used the Field of Ruin at the end of the opponent's turn so that Chewie untapped and had that extra mana. And in fact, that extra mana was crucial because he had out at that point.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
Yes. Okay. Spoiler alert.
that. Yeah, it mattered once. Exactly
did.
once.
It did.
So yeah, Brian's deck, let's see. Brian spread his cards all over the mat and took a picture.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to make sure you could see the individual cards as well as possible. But
So Brian's deck was supposed to be our fast deck. Like, its
Yes.
curve topped out at 5. He had 3 Deadeye Plunderers, the ones that get +1/+1 for each artifact you control.
Oh wow.
The ones that can make treasure, you know?
Hmm.
And he had, trying to find your other, I know you had more 5-drops. He had 1 Prosperous Pirates, the one that makes 2 treasure, and 2 of the 3/3 flash flying Windstrider. That's the name.
yeah, I actually opened like 3 of the Prosperous Pirates, and it just was, the 5 slot itself was actually getting to be a bit clogged. And as Chewie said, we wanted to keep this pretty low to the ground, So we made a conscious effort to try and keep this one fairly streamlined.
Yeah, so he had 6 5-drops. He had some 1-drops, the March of the Drowned, which is only sort of a 1-drop. It turns out that, no, hang on. Oh, stupid phone. Sorry, I snapped a picture with my phone, so I'm having issues. When I try to, move the picture to the side, it just goes back to the next picture. It's because swipe. So let's see, he had a Siren Storm Tamer, Blight Keeper, 3 Sailor of Means, the 1/4 that makes a treasure.
Yeah.
To stand in the way. We had a Storm Sculptor, that 3/2 unblockable thing that bounces a creature you control.
Okay, so great.
He had a Daring Saboteur.
So daring.
So daring. A Ruthless Knave. The pay some mana, sack a creature to create 2 treasure, and sack 3 treasure to draw a card.
Yep.
He had the Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, the 3/3 that destroys a creature that was dealt damage.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And then, we had Mark of the Vampire and One with the Wind, 2 really sick auras. That's +2/+2 in flying and +2/+2 in lifelink.
And One with the Wind only costs 2.
Why is that? That's so stupid.
I don't know. I'll get back to that on my individual pre-release, but
+2/+2 in flying for 2 mana is just common.
in blue.
It's ridiculous.
Anyway.
So let's see. We had some Vanquish the Weak, a Skullduggery, a Vraska's Contempt, March of the Drowned to get stuff back, a Prying Blade, a treasure map. I'm missing something. Nope, no, I'm not. That's everything. That's the deck.
Yep.
So when I say low to the ground, what I mean is 3, 4, and 5-drops, essentially.
Right. Whereas Chewie's deck was not.
Yeah, whereas my deck, let's see here. My deck was running a Raptor Hatchling, an Otapek Huntmaster, the thing that makes dinosaurs cheaper and taps for mana. Blossom Dryad, Wily Goblin, 2 Ixalan's Diviner, and a Tishana's Wayfinder. Lots of, well, maybe not lots, but enough cheap things that helped. They either made mana, or they had Enrage get a 3/3, or they untap land, so it's ramp,
Yep.
The Wily Goblin made treasure, so hey, more mana. I also had removal. I had dual shot, unfriendly fire, 2 fire cannon blasts. I had a pounce, commune with dinosaurs, thaumatic compass, emergent growth. What's emergent growth?
Oh, is that the 5+5+5 and has to be
And must be blocked, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Because that's
Which
just
has
a win condition, essentially.
Yeah.
I had a swashbuckling, which I don't remember what that is either.
That was the
+2/+2 in haste? Swash. Because my picture doesn't have the cards revealed. It's just, yeah, +2/+2 in haste. And then the top end of the creatures, I had 2 Raging Sword Tooths. The ones that, when they enter the battlefield, they deal 1 damage to everything.
our thing.
2 Sun-Crowned Hunters, the ones with Enrage bolt an opponent. A Verdant Sun's Avatar, the one where you gain life equal to whatever you just played's toughness.
Mm-hmm.
The Regisar Alpha. Do what?
Yeah. One of those was a promo.
The Verdant Sun's Avatar was a promo.
Yep. Keep going.
We had a Regisar Alpha that, spoilers, literally never saw. Never drew it, never saw it, forgot it was in the deck until we got done and I was flipping through it. I was like, oh, I never drew this card ever.
Yeah.
And a Captivating Crew. The 4 mana to threaten or active treason a thing without tapping, because this card is busted and stupid.
Yes. We saw that when we were opening and we're like, yeah, that's getting played.
Yeah, somebody's playing red. Awesome. So yeah, the deck, this one, I think, looking at it now, had a pretty good curve. Like, it had lots of little stuff, more than I thought, and it had lots of big stuff, and it had some removal in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Seems good.
Yeah. I thought both of the decks, when we looked at them, looked pretty good. The issue that we had was that we kind of ran out of time on deck construction, so we're just about there. We were just about to the point where we were making like 1 or 2 last cuts to Chewie's decks and about to go get land, and like he's like, first round pairings, and we're like, we're not done. He's like, well, that's okay, just finish up. And we got everything together pretty well, but we didn't have time to like sit down and like look over everything again with a fine eye. But I think we did a pretty good job first pass. What do you think?
Yeah, it seems like they're okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So round 1, we sit down against Team Fair Enough.
Everybody, all the teams had to have names. So I was unoriginal, and because I beat Chewie there, I just picked the mana pool because I was not prepared to make a creative decision that day.
Thank goodness, because that's, branding, man, branding.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first thing I wrote is, she was flooded, and we had all the right answers.
Yeah, they were literally like, play something, and we're like, okay, we can deal with that.
Yeah, like, at one point, in one turn, they cast the 3 vampire tokens, and a 4/5 dinosaur, I forget which one. And, they said go. And so I played my Sword Tooth, which killed all the tokens, and Brian played the Fathom Fleet Cutthroat to kill the 4/5. And we felt like gods.
Well, and let's make sure we tell the whole story. You drew that turn, your 5th land, to play the Sword Tooth. We were like, that has to be a land. That has to be a land. And luckily it was.
Yeah.
So.
And then I wrote, then we sort of ran them over.
Yeah.
Like, we took a point of damage at some point, and their life total goes 30, 29, 25, 22, 13, 9, win.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, they never really came back. They had 1 or 2 other plays, but
she had all the mana. She had mana rocks. She was drawing land every turn.
She had a thematic compass and was digging out land. And no, she had the scry one.
There we go. Yeah, I was gonna say no. She
didn't. The treasure map, and she just kept scrying over and over and over and over again, and could not draw removal or really anything relevant. So
yeah,
they seem really nice, but
oh yeah, they were really sweet. But that was a relatively simple win.
Yes, there was no point at which I felt like we have no way of winning. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then round 2. We end up playing against Team Pig Venus. Pig Venus. So, of course, this was Sexy Jared.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't remember his teammate's name because it was a guy that I recognized but had never actually met.
Yeah, I can see him
Yeah.
in my dreams, but I can't. Wait, did I say
Nightmares.
that out loud? I can picture him, but I can't remember his name
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
So this game was weird because my deck decided to go flood, heavy flood, oh god, flood.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there doing not much at all.
Was your first? Go ahead.
And then
Go ahead.
Jared was also doing not much at all. But then Jared was playing like, what, was it blue-white or blue-black?
He was playing heavy blue and something. I want to say blue-white. He played blue-white because at one point he played an O-ring effect on one of your guys.
Right.
But the difference between you and him was that you're obviously not doing a whole lot, and you're in green and red, and he's obviously not doing a lot, and he had 2 islands like right away, and so that always makes you wonder, okay, does he not really have anything, or is he waiting to counter something? So
yeah. So it was essentially one-on-one with some backup.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, were you gonna ask, was my first creature the Verdant Suns whatever?
Yeah.
Because I think it was my first creature, or at least it was the first one that mattered.
Yeah. He had his partner had some early dinosaurs, and at one point he played out the white early drop that you can reveal a dinosaur from your hand to gain life, and then when you have 5 mana, you can tap it and sacrifice it. Here we go. It's the Priest of the Waking Sun.
Yeah.
It's the 1/1. At the beginning of a heap, you can reveal the dinosaur from your hand to gain 2 life. And more importantly, pay 3 and 2 white and sack him to tutor for a vampire, for a dinosaur. Which luckily I had the skullduggery to go ahead and kill that. It didn't even really matter what I gave +1/+1/2 because the whole point was kill. And he even knew it was coming, and he regretted later because at one point he had 5 mana and he didn't sack it because it turned out he had some really good dinosaurs. Like before we got to play our Verdant Suns Avatar, he played his own, and we're like, okay. He played a number of things that were like, we have to kill. And then at one point he played the legendary multicolor.
They played Gishath.
Yep.
And
oh wow.
And Brian like leans over to me. He's like, "Look, we can kill it." And at this point, Jared's teammate, I really feel bad that I can't remember his name, but Jared's teammate leans over and goes, "You know they can kill it, right?" And Jared goes, "It's fine. I've got this." And he pointed at a card in his hand, and I'm like, "Oh no!" But we had to go for it because that thing was going to wreck our whole face.
Yeah.
If we didn't try to kill it, so we tried to kill it, and we succeeded in killing it. I don't remember how we killed it.
He blocked. We double blocked, and we didn't end up taking. We might have taken like a point
Yeah, we
of
just
damage.
double blocked it. It was very simple.
Jared was bluffing, basically.
No, he had another thing in his hand that was going to be scary later. So if that threat got lost, it was okay. Is what that deal was.
Meanwhile, we're plinking away with my 3/2 unblockable. It's a blue merfolk, costs 4, and when it comes in, you bounce one of your creatures to your hand.
Yeah, you bounced your treasure making guy on 3. I think.
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly. And that 3/2 with unblockable was just pang, pang, pang. And Chewie was holding the enchantment
+2/+2 in haste, swashbuckling.
And at one point, I thought he was asking about what to put it on, and I think what he was trying to indicate was we should just put this on this and start swinging for 5. I thought we were going to wait to put on like a dinosaur or something, but at one point we just said this is just silly, and we put it on there, and we were hitting for 5 for a while, and they didn't have an answer for it for some time until finally Jared drew a top decked the destroy a creature with power 4 or greater spell.
Yeah.
So. And I know he top decked it because it hit them way too many times for him to be just saving that for something.
Yeah.
There was at one point they did try and target with something else, and I sacked a creature and a treasure to counter a spell that targeted another creature I control.
Yeah, that siren.
The siren. Thank you. The one drop siren. Yeah, and I don't And I was afraid that they were going to take that into account and go ahead and try and kill it anyway. But that actually, I guess they'd either forgotten about it or hoped that I'd forgotten about it.
I think he looked at Jared and said, I forgot all about that.
Or he forgot that I had treasure because I was tapped out from, lands. But that got us some more damage.
Yeah, so then I finally, long story short, it's a giant mess of a game.
Yeah, a long giant mess.
When the first thing that I did, the first creature that I played is a 7-drop. There's a problem.
Yeah.
But I did have the thaumatic compass out and was using it every turn, and so Jared put it back on top of my library
in response to you activating.
So I shuffled it away, which was fine. And it was like the turn it was gonna flip or something like that, which was fine. I didn't care about flipping it. I was trying to get mana, so that didn't bother me at all. But it got him to use one of his removal spells, which made me happy.
Yeah, I was honestly very happy when he did that.
Yeah. And so it comes to this massive board stall where nobody can really do much. And I play the Captivating Crew.
Yeah.
And steal a thing and hit him with it. And I'm at 11 mana and I'm at 10 mana and I've got one in hand. And I go, Brian, use the Field of Ruin. I'll have 12 mana. We can steal 3 of their things and win. And he goes, right.
Sounds like a plan.
So he uses the Field of Ruin and I go get a land and then I'll play one. And I have 12 mana and I'm like, all right. And we start trying to figure out what to steal. Because I've got 12 mana, which means I can steal 3 things. It's so stupid.
And I know that they hadn't I know that they had thought things through about what they should play, because you literally went to steal a third thing and they said, wait, when did you get to 12 mana? So I know that they had been paying a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And and we were like, because this, and they're like, oh crap. So yeah, buddy.
This is where things went wrong. Because we know that time is running short. And so we grab 3 things and we just swing with everything.
Yeah.
And we thought we had won.
Yes.
And I don't remember what they did.
I think this is turn 1 of turns as well. So
I don't think... Was it?
I think so.
Oh, maybe that's why we swung with everything then.
Yeah.
Because there's only... three.
Yeah, there's only 3
extra
turns in Two-Headed Giant.
And we're like, well, we got this. So steal those things. They clearly weren't anticipating us taking 3. We're good. And then Jared had at least 1 removal spell.
And didn't they have a pump spell too?
And I think they had a pump spell. And we're like, well, okay. So we got them down to 2. Was it 2?
It was 2.
It was 2. And I played the bat from my hand, which of course
the something keeper,
which pay 7 and tap
blight keeper
and sack it to drain an opponent for
4. Yeah, it's
pay
8 and tap, 7 and a black and tap and sack.
Right. And
I freak out.
Chewie freaks out because he didn't see the tap symbol. And he's like, why didn't you just play that next turn? And I'm like, because I can't. But the reason he's freaking out is because Jared's partner, whose name we can't remember, had the green instant either destroy an enchantment or destroy a creature with flying. And so he's like, yeah, kill that. I knew he had something in his hand earlier because he was looking around for enchantments. He had joked with Jared at some point, not in a very hushed voice, about destroying the O-ring on Chewie's thing. So I knew he had some kind of... What is
that thing called? Ashes of... No. What is that thing called?
Ixalan's Binding? No, that's not it either.
Well, Ixalan's Binding is the O-ring. Is the O-ring. I'm not sure what it's a green instant that allows you to do
I was
that.
talking about the O-ring. Yeah, they had an
Canopy
Ixalan.
Crush.
That's the one.
Yeah, and he immediately was like, yeah, that's dead, because he knew what the card did. And so
Crushing Canopy, rather.
Crushing Canopy.
Yeah.
So basically we drew because they could not
I left
us.
out a very important thing.
Yes.
When I say we attacked with everything,
we mean
my dumbass attacked with everything, including the Captivating Crew, which they promptly blocked and killed.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, we thought we had won.
Yes. We thought we had won, and that was one more thing they had to block. It's a what, 4/3?
It's a 4/3, yeah.
Yeah, that's 4 points of damage. So I don't know. This is one of those hindsight is 2020 things. Had we known that they would survive, yes.
Yeah, I totally would not have attacked with
Right.
it, but
in the moment, I'm not convinced that we were completely dumb.
yeah.
You know?
And besides, Lucky had just called time, and we were like, "Oh crap!" So it goes back to them,
Yeah.
and they like draw and go. I don't know, go. And then we're like, "Can we kill them this turn?" I've got a burn spell in my hand, but it's the stupid deal 3 or 6 to a creature, and I'm
Not
like,
a player.
Now I can't find it.
I don't remember.
It's up here somewhere. Nope, no. I cannot find this. Fire cannon blast. I'm like, ah. And so
He actually made that sound. Yeah.
it ended up being a draw because I attacked with the damn captivating crew. And of course, all of the armchair quarterbacks are like, if you just like steal the flyer and attack each turn, you win. And we're like, why don't you go to hell? Because I was not happy. Like,
It had been a long game, and there were several people around that were basically trying to tell us that we had mismanaged it. And we know we're not perfect.
no kidding. I shouldn't have attacked with the thing that was going to win the game. Eat a dick. Like, it just. Thank you for pointing that out.
But again, we don't know everything they've got, and I really honestly feel like in the situation, it was not necessarily the bad call. It wasn't. It was a call, and it turned out to be incorrect this time. And if Jared didn't have one removal spell, and if his partner didn't have one removal spell, that could have been the game. So
yeah, because he had the pump all of your guys, whatever that is.
Yes,
and because he had most of the creatures, that means basically all the blockers were his, which means he was able to kill one of our dudes.
Right. Which, like, from the attack as we made it before, we were going to be able to attack with somewhat impunity, and even sending in the captivating crew, it was probably going to come back alive until that happened.
Rallying roar. That's the one.
Either that, or he would have had to throw multiple things in front of it, and thanks to rallying roar, he didn't. So
yeah,
that's
it's possible that we're misremembering some of these fine details, and Jared will, of course, laugh at me later. But whatever, close enough. That's why we didn't win.
Yeah. Still had a good time. It was unlike the first game, this one was very intense and involved a lot of decision making on both sides of the table. So
yeah, I mean, it was a good game. I just shouldn't have attacked with the crew, and then we'd have won. But whatever.
Whatever.
So then we go to round 3 against Team Gemini, and were these the kids that were new?
Yes, these were the kids that were new.
Or I think she was new. He had been playing for some amount of time.
Compared to us, everybody's young. We're old,
okay, that's true.
Man. But yes, she was new because he was walking her through everything.
Yeah. So the first thing that I wrote is Brian's deck refused to give him good cards that cost less than 5, but also not 5 mana.
Well, first of all, I mulled to 5?
Yeah.
Because my deck, all of a sudden, until that game, first 2 games, would you say my deck was running pretty well? I would say so.
Yeah, those first 2 games, your deck was the only one doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, like for a while. And so this game, I'm like, okay, there's 2 lands and they're the wrong color. Or like, yeah. And then the second one's like 5 lands and nothing. I'm like, oh, and I keep throwing it back. And, you even get the free mulligan.
In this game, you mulled to 5, and I actually had to mull to 6 because my free mulligan was also terrible.
Right. Whereas I think one of them mulled once, and otherwise they were good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we're already starting off, 3 cards down, which sucks.
Right.
But
and we're on the play because every time we won the die roll, we were on the play, and sometimes when we lost the die roll, the opponent put us on the play to be up cards, I guess. But whatever.
Yeah, which in Two-Headed Giant, that's probably the right decision.
Probably,
maybe, but
so most of the time it worked out for us. But anyway,
so they came out swinging. They had lots of little dudes, but we managed to hold the fort. Or Brian didn't. I managed to hold the fort. My deck actually stepped up and threw out all the early game, and I was like, yeah. While
my
Brian's deck is over there going herp-a-derp-a-derp.
Hope you don't want to play cards.
Yeah.
I was not getting lands was the main issue. I was not getting lands for a long, long, long time.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Whereas I had a couple removal spells, but I had to be extremely careful with them because they were playing incredibly scary things. The first thing that made us go, was
A Sanctum Seeker.
Sanctum Seeker, the vampire that whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life.
Ouch.
And you gain 1 life.
Yeah. And in Two-Headed Giant, now you could tell this is a point where I could tell even he was not new, but was a little new because they attacked, and after damage in their second main phase, she played it and moved and tried to move their life counter, and we're like, no, that's not how it works, because she had thought it was a enters the battlefield kind of trigger or something. So
like the bishop or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
We did the math, and next turn, this thing was going to not kill us, but it was going to bring us low.
It was going to deal us.
She had what, like 3 other vampires?
She had 3 other vampires, so it was going to. So
we were going to take 8.
Yeah.
Just when they said attack, like it was going to be bad.
So Chewie
I go unfriendly fire it, which deals 4 damage. And she goes skullduggery to give it +1/+1. And I'm like,
that's actually a really good response because now it won't die. And I'm holding the Vraska's Contempt in my hand. I'm like, I don't want to use this. Here, you're going to call me a liar for this. And I'm not talking about you, I mean the listener. But I swear, we see what she's playing. She's playing white and black. His first plays are a forest and then a swamp. And I'm like, okay, first thing, they're both in black. That's really interesting. Second thing, my mind, I'm immediately like, there's a Vraska.
Yeah.
I know and I'm holding the Vraska's Contempt, and Chewie goes to blow up the one, and she saves it, and I'm like, well, that's gonna kill us. So they've 2-for-1'd us already, I guess. Let's just bite the bullet and kill it. So we killed the Sanctum Seeker.
Using the Vraska's Contempt.
Using the Vraska's Contempt.
Which is the first thing Brian's been able to do all game, essentially.
First thing, yeah. The first turn that her partner has 6 mana, he plays Vraska.
And we're like, well, balls.
And starts pumping out pirates.
Now, like you do.
Chewie and I have not played Two-Headed Giant in a while. And Chewie's playing dinosaurs. His deck is coming online. Mine is starting to get some semblance of mana, but I'm still a little ways away. I'm able to play.
I think at this point you finally had hit 5 mana.
And I'm able to play the guy with Flash.
Yeah.
But I'm not able to attack with impunity into his Vraska. So he's about to go up. He goes up. He rolls her up to 10. And Chewie and her are like, okay, should we try and attack it? I'm like, no. They're newer. I don't want to take advantage of the rules, but he probably doesn't know the way that life totals work in Two-Headed Giant. He's going to move one of our life totals to 1.
There was a thing that he had done earlier in the game. He tried to crew a vehicle by tapping the number of creatures.
Yes.
To crew the thing. And we just sort of looked at it and we were like, it's a pre-release. Hey man, that says that deals with power, not number of creatures. And he looked at it and he went, wow, this is way better. And we were like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. And it's a pre-release. Everybody's learning. So yeah. But
don't be that guy, okay?
No. But in this case, I'm perfectly willing to let him do the thing, and we can explain how that works, and hopefully, be okay with it.
Back when we played Two-Headed Giant, the way it worked was the team's life total was, let's say, 30. And that means whenever anything looked at a player's life total, it was half of the life total.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which means if something said set a player's life total to 1, it would set Brian's life total to 1, and we'd be at 16.
Hi, I'm at 16 now because I'm 1, but really 16. And it made sense when you knew how it worked, but that's confusing as hell. I mean, it really is. I mean,
yeah. And it turns out at some point within the last 2 or 3 years, they changed that.
Yeah.
I thought it's been longer than that.
Oh, has it? Well, it's been a long time since we played Two-Headed Giant.
Yeah,
I remember we talked about it on Monday Night Magic, and we might have talked about it on this show, but because I hadn't played any Two-Headed Giant in so long, it didn't stick.
Yeah. So he goes, they untap, he looks at it, he goes, use her ultimate. And we're like, okay, great, we're at I think we said
whatever it was.
We're at 12 life or 13.
Something.
And they're like, huh? And we're like, okay, let's get Lucky over here to explain this. And then, of course, Lucky looks it up and like, no, you're wrong. And we're like...
Actually, yeah, Lucky didn't even get a chance to look it up. Dude pulled up the release notes on his phone because Lucky was like, dude, I don't even know. I'll have to go look. And then he pulled up the release notes on his phone and handed me his phone. And I'm like, scroll. Here it is. Never mind, Lucky, we're dead.
We're dead. Yeah, because then it, all of a sudden they have all these pirates with menace, and we're at 1. And my deck,
we were like one creature short from being able to block everything without menace.
Yeah, without taking menace. Yeah, so we were well and truly dead.
Yeah, so we got Vraskid, and it was pretty funny.
And we learned something. And I feel like the Reading Rainbow music should be playing right now because I didn't want to come across at all begrudging or anything like that. They, we just hadn't done it in a long time, and we didn't know that's how the rules worked, and now we do, and felt a little foolish about it. But again, aside from my deck just basically deciding not to play, we were trying to make the optimal decisions. But their decks were in tune and they curved out.
Yeah, their life totals go 30, 32, 37, 33. So, hey, you know what? We did hit them for 4 at some point.
Yeah. But even though both of them were on the newer side, her especially, they crafted their decks well. They played well. They drew well. And they won. And
it was pretty sick.
Yeah. Good for them.
And of course, playing against us, we're laughing and goofing off, and I'm being my normal self the whole time. So at least they were enjoying themselves. We were enjoying ourselves. It's not like it mattered. It's a pre-release.
We were having a great time. I would love to win, but, whatever. It's two-headed giant. If you're going to get all upset over, winning and losing and percentage and blah, 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 then, what are you doing?
Yeah, right?
So
then... we go to round 4, and we're playing team...
probably, I will say, probably the most frustrating thing, if anything, was when the deck decides just to not show up. That's a little frustrating. And that doesn't...
Then you don't get to play.
Then you don't get to play as much. So,
yeah.
But again, in this format, hey, at least Chewie's deck was doing something. So we were halfway there.
Yeah. So now we're 1-1-1.
Yep.
We're like, this is dumb. So we go to round 4. We're playing Team Niosaurus decks.
Is that what they were called?
Yeah. And this is Mikey and Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Way back at that pre-release for Ether Revolt that I went to and decided that I wasn't going to actually be able to play. Like, I couldn't afford it at the time. I gave over my spot because I had called and, reserved a spot. I gave over my spot to Jared's buddy, Mikey, who opened an Oblivion Stone and ended up winning that pre-release because his deck was completely insane with an Oblivion Stone.
And in case you're paying attention at home, Oblivion Stone was not printed in the set. Oblivion Stone was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So
that's this Mikey.
Yeah.
And Mikey's cool. And Bob was cool. So we had fun. And Brian's deck crapped itself worse.
Yet again.
It was worse this time. I was so mad I didn't write down what you mulled to. But I'm pretty sure you went to 5. And I don't remember if you went to 4 or not, but you thought about it real hard.
I thought about it really hard. Because these opening hints were literally even worse.
Like, I think you did go to 4.
It wouldn't surprise me. I loved the deck. We were putting it together, and in the first couple games, it was awesome. And then I just decided, fooled you, and just...
It's like, you drew that game, so I'm not playing anymore. And, yeah, my notes say, and I quote, Brian's deck... Oh, I can't say that. Pooped itself again. Mikey and Bob ran us over. It was brutal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we were doing damage... Like,
yeah,
our life total goes 30, 27, 21, 15.
This was not a game where I felt like we were completely out of it. And if my deck had been participating, I think it would have been really close.
Oh, yeah.
But it was basically Chewie versus the two of them.
Their life total went 30, 28, 26, 20, 17, 14. Like, we were doing damage,
Yeah.
but it didn't matter.
I was just like, come on, the
Like,
whole
I didn't
time.
even write down anything that happened because it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
They just
Yeah.
beat the dog out of it. Didn't they have 2 of the Verdant Sons avatars in their decks? Was that somebody had 2 that we played against? It seems like it was these guys.
No, I think that was I think that
wait,
might
that
have been
was
Jared's
Jared.
team.
Yeah.
That was Jared's team.
Okay.
He had the legendary dinosaur and 2 of the Verdant. It was crazy.
Yeah, like it was bad. It didn't even matter what they were playing, what we were doing, because Brian's deck crapped itself. My deck couldn't. It wasn't built to do that. It was trying, but it just didn't matter. So we ended up 1-2-1.
Yep. But
And
I had
we
a fabulous time.
We
Go ahead.
learned some things about how Two-Headed Giant works, and we
Life totals.
life totals. We had fun. We got to play against Sexy Jared.
Yeah, hell yeah. And Chewie, it was a pleasure playing with you. I said this later, but it was a pleasure playing Two-Headed Giant with you. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, I was all
I'm just
excited.
sorry.
Man. We were getting the band back together.
I was just sorry that I didn't get my deck didn't get to play with you as much as we wanted. But I had a good time, and we didn't open any like super bombs. Although Captivating Crew is amazing,
That card is
But-
stupid.
but I felt like the decks worked pretty well.
All day, everyone kept going, why does this card not tap?
In the game against Sexy Jared, they pulled off our combo of the
Oh, the Sword Tooth and the
The-
Fathom something. Fathom
Yeah.
Fleet Cutthroat or whatever it's called.
right, and they're like, this is amazing, and we're like, yeah, it is,
Fathom Fleet Cutthroat. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't say, we did it last game because
right.
we were hoping to pull it off ourselves at some point.
I think you were holding the dinosaur, and I didn't have the pirate in my hand. But
Right.
that's one of those things that I love about Two-Headed Giant, because in a real game, I should say, in a normal game, that's going to cost you 9 mana, so you're not going to do that. But
In 3 colors.
yeah, in 3 colors. But in Two-Headed Giant, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and it was awesome. And I managed to draw and play the Sword Tooth the turn after someone cast the 3/1/1 vampire tokens. I think
Yeah.
twice
Twice
over
in the first
course
round.
of the day.
In the first round, and then in the third round, which is important because she was playing all that vampire pump stuff, and she played that. And you drew that time. You already had 5 mana, but you drew the dinosaur, and we're like, yeah, let's play that.
Yeah,
Not even a
seems good.
question. We're like, yeah. We're gonna do this now, and she was like, "Oh," and then they beat us anyway. But yeah, it was fun, and we learned stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the kids in South Park. I learned something today.
Do they learn stuff anymore? I don't know that they do.
I don't know. So how about your solo midnight pre-release?
So
there, sir?
I went to the midnight pre-release because it was I wanted to make sure that I went to at least one, and by doing that, then I thought, okay, now I can hopefully turn around and do a Two-Headed Giant with Chewie. The issue was, of course, that now that Sam was in cheerleading, she had a game right in the middle of the day on Saturday, so there wasn't going to be a way to get to Lucky's to do just the normal Saturday sealed event. So I said, all right, I'm going to go to the midnight, and I went over to Lucky's, and I got my pool, and I've got my deck right here in front of me, and some notable things that I saw about it. First of all, my promo was the Fleet Swallower. That's the when it attacks, mill them for half their library. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's probably good. And then other notable rares, just in terms of things to build around, were Captain Lannery Storm. She's the red pirate legendary creature, 2/2 with haste. Whenever she attacks, you get a treasure. And whenever you sack a treasure, she gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And then my other rare that I ended up playing was the Emperor's Vanguard for 3 and a green, a 4/3 human scout. When it deals combat damage to a player, it explores. So as you can probably tell from that, hey, look, I'm in 3 colors. I did Teamer Pirates because, that's a thing. I didn't really have any strong dinosaurs, and I was not necessarily trying to go on theme. And as Drew was talking about, you don't really want to go on theme to the point that you're building a weak deck. So I'm looking through it now, and I've got some pirates. I've got some more pirates than anything else, I think, but I do have a smattering of merfolk here and there.
Oh, smattering.
But I will say, and I told this to Chewie, if we're talking about things that we took away from the pre-releases, is that when I'm looking at sorry, I just saw the chat. And it's distracting. But anyway, one of the things I learned that I didn't realize when we were doing previews was the last couple sets, they've had a couple tribal cards, but nothing at the level of like Lorwyn or Onslaught or anything like that. You know what I mean? Just a couple like, hey,
Yeah.
what I didn't realize until I was really looking at the cards, and especially as I was playing, was while this set is not on Lorwyn level, it has a lot more tribal enablers than the last couple of blocks. So this is definitely more of a tribal set. So it really does reward you to try and go that route, but only where there's cards that actually care about that. Like the Fathom Fleet, the Fleet Swallower is a fish. And surprisingly, I didn't get any fish lords. So, but again, some decent stuff. Not a whole lot of removal. I did get a Fiery Cannonade and a Pounce, which is the instant fight spell, which I really like, and just some decent stuff to round things out. And then I want to mention one other card real quick, which is the Fiery Cannonade. For some reason I thought that was a different spell. Fiery Cannonade for 2 and a red is a Pyroclasm instant, deals 2 damage to each non-pirate creature, and it went in the main deck. I'm like, that's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, everybody was playing pirates. I don't mean like most of the people. I mean like 19 out of 20 people were playing pirates.
Good lord.
So something, and I'm not that. There's nothing scientific behind that. All the people I played against were playing pirates, and then I looked around the tables. Literally, I think because dinosaurs are great, but they're so top heavy, the pirates are more spread around the curve. It makes a lot of sense. Real quick. Game 1, played against Damien. Good guy. Both of us had a slightly slow start in that my first creature was a Captain Lannery Storm on turn 3, but I'm starting to build up treasure. His first creature was his Captain Lannery Storm on his turn 3. Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those games. It was seriously close to a mirror match. And you know what separated it? Was for the first time I saw this little blue enchantment for 1 and a blue, give a creature +2/+2 and flying. And I'm like, what's the drawback? And he's like, there's no drawback. I'm like, but it's +2/+2. He's like, yeah. So now minus a 4/4 that gets me treasure. I'm like, I don't understand. Because it's a common. I missed it in previews because we don't look at every common. I still don't get it. I still don't understand. One with the wind, but it beat me down horribly. We had a couple close games.
Was that card from original Innistrad block, Spectral Flight? Is that what it was called?
Maybe.
Spectral Flight. +2/+2 and flying. Yeah, that's the same one.
Okay. And it costs 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Was it a common?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just,
I remember that
cranky.
card being busted too. And limited.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's very ridiculous. Yeah.
But I don't have really any removal for this, and eventually it just beats me down. Also, it wasn't until game 2 that I realized that last ability of Captain Lannery Storm, when you sack a creature, she gets a power boost. But looking back, I don't think it really made a difference. I just felt bad because you know how sometimes you discover there's words on the card that you didn't know were there before. And it's funny because he took advantage of it because he had his own. But again, I don't think it would have made any difference. Game 2, round 2, was a very interesting win in that my opponent didn't show up. But, it's like 1:30 in the morning. So I guess an easy buy. And then round 3, I played against... I didn't write down his name, but he was awesome. This guy, Albert, he was funny. He was nice. We joked around a whole lot. I beat him in the first game, mostly because I was able to just, I never played the Fleet Swallower, but I was able to get out the Vanguard and just keep exploring. And it was one of these games where I actually drew my removal. I had Run Aground. I had like the Pounce, and I kept clearing the way for my stuff, and I was actually able to get there. I'm like, hey, look, the deck is doing what it needs to do. And then in games 2 and 3, I was doing okay, but he outraced me quite a bit, and I lost. And
Lame.
I think the takeaway there was he had a lot of pirates early. So again, the fiery cannonade did nothing, and I ended up taking it out. And then he had some very nice dinosaurs, including the legendary mythic dinosaur, to just beat me down. So it's tough because sometimes somebody just gets the amazing card. And I'm not saying that I thought my deck was pretty good. He beat me to it. And again, we were talking the whole time. We were having a great time. And at that point, I am 1-2. And according to the prize payout, it literally did not matter if I won the last game or not. I was actually guaranteed a pack regardless of record. So I said, okay, this is a chance. It's 4:00 in the morning. It's time for me to get my pack and go home. I hate missing out on games that are pre-release because the whole point is to go and play. But given the circumstances and knowing that I was going to hopefully play later with Chewie, I took my pack and ran on home. So had a good time. And again, if there's one takeaway I can say, it's that a lot of the tribal enablers, you don't have to play tribal and sealed. You don't. But a lot of the tribal enablers are strong enough that you are really rewarded for doing that. But I think that's maybe more of a lesson for draft where you can craft your deck. But I would at least look and see what have you got when you're looking at your pool. But the set is awesome to play. I want to draft. I haven't had a chance to. I tried going to a local gaming store yesterday. I called. I'm like, Wednesday night is draft night for pretty much every store around here, right? I would have asked Mike if he wanted to go, but he was singing like an angel, I'm sure.
Actually, there was a work thing that I went to.
Were you singing like an angel?
I was not.
Oh,
I was playing Guitar Hero poorly.
wow, your work things sound much better than my work things. Anyway, so I want to hear more about that. But they told me I was going to be number 3, and I drove over there, and I got in there, and they said the other 2 people just left. And I'm like, okay. And I waited for an hour for anyone else to show up. And they didn't, so I left. And on the way out, I called Lucky's. And I'm like, are you guys doing sign-ups for draft? And they said, we just started our last one. And I'm like, yeah. So I actually saw Lucky later, and I said, yeah, next time I'm going to come right to you. Nothing against this other game store, but next time I'm going to go right to you. Just because hopefully I won't just sit there for a long time. And I don't blame the store owner for that. They cater to whoever comes in. You know, they can't conjure people for me to play with. But I am looking forward to drafting the set because, Chewie, would you say that the set is an awesome set to play?
I would say that, but I don't, know any better.
Well, that's good enough for me. So
I have enjoyed watching the pros on Twitter argue over whether this is the worst draft format in history or the best, which is a really weird thing.
Is that something they're discussing? I don't pay attention to pros.
Yeah, I've seen a few here and there on Twitter. Like somebody complained about it being the worst format in like years, and a few others jumped in with, "Have you lost your mind?" And a few others jumped in with, "You kids today."
Well, I like it so far, and I don't even have a winning record, so or even close. But I like it. Anyway, so that is the most abbreviated tournament report I'll probably ever do, because I think everybody's about to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's kind of late. So, hey, Mike, you've done some drafts, you said, right?
Yeah, I did a couple of drafts on, Sunday afternoon down at Lucky's. The first one, it took a little bit to fire. The shop was super crowded because there was a modern PPTQ going on. But when I showed up, I think there were only 3 or 4 other people who had signed up to try to get a draft going, and had to wait a while. So I played some games of Commander and some games of like normal 60 card Magic. One of the guys there who was waiting to draft, Nick, he had taken several of the recent Planeswalker decks and souped them up and made them a little more better and interesting.
Cool.
So we had fun with those. But yeah, so the first draft finally fired, and I started out because of the first. Let's see. Usually in the first pack, I go to the uncommons and see if there's one of those interesting build around things first
Right.
before I check the rare.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that stood out the most to me was the mana guy who costs 1 and a green. He can tap for any color of mana, and he also gets +2/+2 as long as you control a dinosaur.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So I was like, okay, let me start here and see what I can get. So I start picking stuff for green and white dinosaurs, but then not too long into
Nope.
that first
Excuse me.
pack.
Couldn't hit the
Oh.
mute. Oh.
Not too long into that first pack, it felt like I wasn't seeing as much good stuff for that, but there were some like really good cards for like a white-black vampires deck that were still getting passed around. So I was okay, maybe I should just take this signal and pivot. So I did that for a couple picks, and then that completely disappeared. So I'm like, well, now what?
Been there before, man. Been there before.
So I try to go back to my original plan, and I could tell just from what I remembered from what I was picking and what I was seeing that my deck was not turning out very well. And there was a moment where people were commenting on the card, the blue legendary enchantment, Search for Azcanta or whatever it is.
Yep.
The blue legendary enchantment that flips into a land. Going around, they were commenting, that's a $6 card, isn't it? Just wheeling around the table. And not too long after, and the pack got to me right after that, and I looked at it and looked through the rest of the stuff that was still left in the pack, and I'm like, and I took it, and they laughed, at me. And I said, well, my deck is pretty much a disaster, so I might as well get something out of this. And my curve was, I did end up trying for green-white dinosaurs. My curve was pretty clunky. I ended up playing all 3 of the Bloodletters Chalices that I had drafted because I felt like I just really absolutely needed to get to 5 if I was going to have any chance to get in the game. But then in the first match I played, I was matched up against Nick, who I was hanging out with earlier, and I had massive mana problems. I had to fight and scrounge through just exploring and playing chalices when maybe I could have been playing creatures for every mana I was able to put onto the board in both of the games in that round. And I just ended up losing because I wasn't able to do anything. So I was I went straight up to the table, and Bing was there, and he said, "You lose already?" And I said, "Yes, sign me up for the next one." He said, "Okay." So I was number 1 on the list for the next draft. So I sat around and I watched people play, and they had football on the TV. So I went back and forth between watching people play and watching football. And Nick actually ended up being one of the finalists in that draft. He had this crazy blue-green merfolk deck. And they ended up splitting because they also wanted to do another draft, and there was enough people signed up. So they split, and we sat down for the next draft. So in the second draft, again, I go to the uncommons and look around, and that's when I see Shapers of Nature, which is a really good – that's the green-blue merfolk that can put counters on stuff and then use counters to let you draw cards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 3/3 for 3. So that's a super good card. That's a super good build-around-me card if you want to try for a green-blue merfolk. And I remember Nick's deck, and I'm like, maybe this is a sign. Maybe I should try it. And it happened. It ended up working out really well. I ended up picking up a second one later on in the draft. And it's funny, in that pack where I picked up the second one, that was also where I saw for the first time, that was in the second pack. That was also where I saw for the first time that 3/2 unblockable merfolk. And I agonized a bit. It was like, let me just get the second Shapers of Nature. I think that's going to be a lot better. But then that unblockable merfolk ended up wheeling all the way back around to me.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And in pack 3, there was another pack where there was a 3/2 unblockable merfolk and some other merfolk that I wanted. I'm like, let's see if this will happen again. So I took the other merfolk, and the 3/2 unblockable came all the way back around to me again.
That's unreal.
There's so many cards in this set that you'd want to reset anyway.
Uh-huh.
Oh my.
But no, it was great. So I had green blue merfolk, and I felt great about the deck when I was building it, and the creatures were good and the spells were good. I got 2 copies of that instant spell that can put a +1/+1 counter on something, and then a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 merfolk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just 2 mana for an instant, and it's nuts. And so the first match of the draft, I was matched against someone else who had also ended up building a green blue merfolk deck. So, which made me really surprised that those cards were able to, that those unblockable guys were able to wheel back around to me. And I beat him in 2 pretty quick games, and I felt awesome. And the other matches in the first round were still going on, and another one of them ended, and not the one where let's see. So I knew which of the other matches that I would need to wait on and I would be playing the winner for. So I just sat near them, and I just sat and watched TV. I didn't watch them play because I wanted the deck to be a surprise. So I was sitting there near them watching TV. So another one of the matches in the first round ended, not the one I was waiting on. Another one of the matches, the other match from the first round ended, not the one I was waiting on. So then the winners of that match, they played each other. It was Nick again and Gary. Chewie and Brian know Gary.
Yay, Gary.
And they played, and they finished. And then Gary came around and was like, and he saw those other people playing, and he asked us, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still waiting. I got to play the winner of this one. So he asked all 3 of us if we would be willing to split, because it was getting kind of late and Gary wanted to go home. We were all like, yeah. I said, okay. So, he just went up to Lucky for some, he went up to Lucky and explained the situation and got his packs. And so I sat there for a very long time.
What was up with this other game?
I don't know. I wasn't watching it because I wanted my opponent's deck to be a surprise. So I just sat there and watched football. And then finally, they were done. So, okay, so I sit down, and I get the impression that both of them had kind of clunky-ish decks. Because my opponent was the one who won that match. He had a white-black vampires deck that was pretty good, but it didn't seem like anything amazing. So I get the feeling they might have both had clunky decks and were being maybe a little bit too cautious and deliberate in the way they were playing, which is also the impression I got from my opponent, the way he was playing. But I won that match in 2 quick games, finally, and Lucky actually gave me 2 extra packs in my prizes because I had to sit around for like an hour.
Oh, see, that's why I love Lucky.
Yeah.
That's brutal, though.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch some football, and you did win. It's just,
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense when you said in the odds and ends that you drafted a really bad deck and had to sit around and wait, and then you drafted a really good deck and had to sit around and wait.
Yeah.
I was like, what is he talking about? How does that even... Oh, that's terrible.
Glad you had a good time, though. Anything interesting out of your prizes?
Gosh, I don't remember. I put it all away.
Apparently. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. My notebook is here. Let's see if I can look at my notebook. I put them away in my notebook. Let's see if I can remember what they are. Okay. Hour of Revelation. No, that's not right. I got a Jace Cunning Castaway.
Nice.
Nice.
That was cool. There was that Search for Ozconta that I picked up in the first draft, where I built the bad deck. Got a Sunbird's Invocation. That's cool. Oh, I got 2 Sunbird's Invocations. I'll figure out what to do with those.
Hmm.
And I got a Ripjaw Raptor. The Ripjaw Raptor was in my second deck, and I think I only played him out once in the first round, and it was amazing. That's the 4/5 for 4 with the Enrage. His Enrage is draw a card.
Yeah.
It's just completely insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the highlights of the stuff that I got. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you did well.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll have to come and draft with you sometime.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and in the drafts, I didn't feel any pressure to pick the buddy lands when they came around because I knew I already had a zillion of them from the core sets.
Yeah.
from previous years. So like, I already got that one.
Look at Mike being old and reaping the rewards.
Hmm.
Back in my day.
Eh,
Back in my day, I already got play sets of these for my crappy standard decks.
Lord. So,
Yep, that was my experience with Ixalan. It was very fun.
Good.
nice.
Even though the first draft didn't turn out well, it wasn't because the cards weren't fun. It was because my deck was awful.
Well, it sounds like, the picks were all over the place, too, so that's always tough.
So, real quick, I would like to take a brief moment and thank the following people who are patrons over on patreon.com/themanapool. A big thank you goes out to Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Lands Delicious, Timu Helasharju. Please get back to me on how to pronounce that properly.
That's what I would say, I think.
Daniel Hall, John, Stuart, I'm going to say Slough. Please get back to me on how to pronounce that properly. PJ McMullen, Bosco. You guys remember Bosco, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, Nathan Hay, AJ Javieres. Not Kill AJ. Cody Bucko Wing, Jacob Jansons, Jason Kaus, Gothic Man, that's Patrick. Brian DeLucci. Do what?
Nothing. Keep going.
Fair enough. Stark Maximum, Dan Holm, Mike Millerburn, and Aaron Goodwine, who is the Beast Father.
Oh, okay.
Thank you all so very much. That is a part of the newly revamped Patreon tier. Not only will your names go at the end of YouTube videos, but also on the podcast. Once I figure out how to pronounce all your names, I'll actually record a thing and just drop it in every episode somewhere different. But for now, since I still don't know how to pronounce some of them, that's what you get. So, hey, Dirk, you alive?
I am.
No, okay, just checking. So originally, dear listeners, we were going to do another thing, but it is now late because we had to start late because, traffic.
It's my
And
fault.
Brian actually caused all the traffic. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So,
Was the president also in town today, or is that happening like over the weekend or something?
The what?
I thought I heard something on the news this morning that the president was gonna come visit.
He'll be in Greensboro.
Yeah. Well, was that today or like over the weekend or something?
it says this weekend if I Google it.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
There's a
Well,
reason
I was in Winston, so
there's a reason to not go to Greensboro this weekend. So, hope they don't call me for a drive. I can't go. I'm mad at the whole town. So how about we will just not do this other thing this week because it's late. Dirk's about to turn into a pumpkin. Brian is a talking pumpkin, and I'm orange.
you are orange today. Wait.
Okay, this is really going to get kind of embarrassing. It's a good thing this isn't a video, but I got sunburn in the Widow's Peak area here, my Jack Nicholson spot.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's peeling.
Oh.
And so it's still red, and I have this weird, line of skin sitting in my hairline where it got burned. It's really kind of gross.
Are you turning orange?
I mean, at the moment, it's red, and that was sunburned, but is getting better, so it is a kind of orange isn't the right word, but it's not pink. It's a different, I don't know. I just don't know. It's like if you take the interior color and the exterior color of a grapefruit and mash them together, that's what color my head is.
Ugh.
I've also had a headache for 36 hours, so I don't even know what I'm saying. So how about we wrap this up, gentlemen?
Sounds good.
So what? Hey, Dirk, what you got? You haven't said anything in a good long while. How you doing? We've missed you. It's been 2 weeks since I talked to most of you guys.
I know. I'm actually kind of excited because even though I'm very tired and exhausted, I've got a teacher work day tomorrow, so I'm not as stressed out about tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I still have to be at normal time and everything, but I just don't have to deal with the chillins. I don't know. This school year has sort of been one where there are years when I'm like, okay, I'm classes are not great, but I'm not upset. I'm not like angry or anything like that. And this year has just, I don't know if it's because it's a different school. It's not a traditional school. It's not, I've got smaller classes, but maybe my teaching style is a little different from what they were expecting, the kids are expecting and everything. But I don't know. I just leave school and a lot of days I'm just very frustrated.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just one of those. And so I'm exhausted from the day and definitely looking forward to sort of having a day to put in grades and sort of figure out what I'm going to do next semester. I've sort of got lofty plans to try and change things up next semester. We'll see what happens
Oh, nice.
next 9 weeks. We'll say that.
I mean,
So-
you also started this semester on the back foot because it was like, hey, you're hired. You start teaching in 20 minutes, essentially.
Yeah, I essentially moved, and then I had one day to unpack, and then it was all right. Teacher work days this time, and usually at the beginning of the school year, they give us a ridiculous number of teacher work days. There's usually like 5 or 6. Like Davidson County had, I think it was 6 teacher work days before the students came, and I had one required teacher work day. I showed up 3 days. One was not required. It wasn't even a teacher work day. I just showed up, and just so happened the principal was there, and he's like, "I'll let you in. Let me into my room and everything, so I could sort of move my stuff in." And then the next day was all like county meetings, and then the next day was required teacher work day, where half the day was a staff meeting. So essentially, I got about half a day between 2 days. So I essentially had a full day when you add it all up to get ready for the semester. And so I do agree that it does feel like I'm frantically running to stay in one place, as the saying goes.
Well, hopefully soon you'll kind of get past that. I think maybe going into next year at least.
Yeah, I think so too. That after when the new semester shows up, that I'll have sort of got everything under my belt, and so I can sort of ease into and be a little more prepared. So I mean, it's not fun to have the first semester be the semester you're just like, I really don't like my job.
Hang in there.
But yeah, that's unfortunate. That's sort of, I have no doubt that's everybody's take on a lot of their jobs. You just have days where you're like, I really don't like my job.
For the most part, I really enjoy my job. I really enjoy a lot of people I interact with.
So rub it in, why don't you?
and there are still days where I'm like, I would give anything to do anything else today. I really would. So
apparently I was muted, so you didn't get to hear my gut laugh when Mike said, rub it in, why don't you?
I think I heard it in my head regardless.
So, but yeah, that's sort of my thing, and yeah, I do have to head out because I really am about to fall asleep.
Nighty night, Dirk. Good to talk to you.
Have a good night, all.
Night, Zerk.
Man, you're gonna make me yawn.
Sorry.
Yawn. Yawn, you bastard. Get sleepy.
I've been chugging
Damn it,
vanilla.
I'm starting to, but then I start laughing and then I don't.
I've been chugging vanilla Coke since I got home because I got home tired. So I was like, if there's any way I'm getting through this, and now I am wide awake and quite perky.
All right, let's play some heroes.
Girl, I'm tired again.
All right.
For my, kind of at a bit of a loss. For my final thought, part of me wants to talk a little bit about what happened earlier this week, especially in light of the fact that I actually have family in Las Vegas. My sister and her husband live in Las Vegas, and I texted her, and they were home, fast asleep, while everything that happened.
That's
So I'm tempted to talk about it, but I don't know that I will say anything that hasn't already been said before. But you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say that it's just sad, regardless of what happened. And of course, the act itself is the worst thing. But then it's sad to how many people are now fighting about whether or not we should be talking about this. What should we be saying about it? This happens, people immediately want to take away our guns. Oh, this happens, and people immediately think we want to start talking about guns and are moving away from issues and da. And I'm like, 50 people lost their lives. Hundreds of people were killed, and it's not even a day later, and these people are on my internet yelling obscenities at each other over. And I just think it's sad. I think it takes away from what happened. I think it talks about real discussions about why it happened. And I know part of that then leads to, well, what should we do about it? And people then start getting upset with each other because half the people feel like, well, this is the clear, obvious answer. And other people are like, well, no, we can't do any of that. And, that violates this right and that right and whatever. And I admit that there are nuances to both sides. So I'm not actually getting involved in that. I think it's sad that so quickly it has devolved away from let's remember the people that died and into this bickering. I know that we were going to get there eventually, because I think we do need to talk about why is this happening. Does it seem to anybody else like this is just happening way too much? Once is certainly too much, but I mean, really, really, does it feel like this sort of thing, these attacks in places, especially the armed, assailants, are happening way too much lately?
Well,
just a thought. And is there a reason for that? Should we be doing something about it? And that's a topic for discussion. I get we have to get into that as a society, but anyway, this is why I feel like I should say something about it, because it's something that could have affected my family, and it did affect hundreds of other people. And I think not saying anything about it is wrong. But at the same time, I don't want to stand on a soapbox because, I don't know what the answers are. I'm just tired of people treating other people that disagree with them like trash, like less than human, moronic, beings.
Welcome to the era of social media.
I guess, but it's just sad.
I agree.
So, I'm going to end it by saying my thoughts and prayers are with anyone that was affected by this, especially when they lost a loved one. And there were lots of people that were hurt, and just because they made it through doesn't mean that their lives aren't changed. I have no idea how many of them, are facing critical conditions or have, I don't know any statistics about how many were hurt in this way and that way, in ways that may then affect their lives going forward. So my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that was actually affected by this. And regardless of what happens, I hope that their lives get better. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough.
And on that happy note,
much more well-spoken than some of the people in power.
Yeah.
Cough. Greensboro this weekend. Great. So with that, are you out there, Mr. Sir?
I'll hang around for a minute.
Fair enough.
Vanilla Coke and all that.
Yeah. So how about you, Beardy Man? Beardy Man.
Yeah.
Man.
I made a comment earlier about playing Guitar Hero poorly. So, for various reasons, there were a bunch of salespeople in town from offsite at my work. So there was a special, after-hours work thing at a bar and arcade downtown here in Greensboro. It's called the Boxcar. And I think there's another one in Raleigh. I heard someone talking about it. But yeah, so they had a Guitar Hero arcade machine there, which I hadn't seen in a very, very long time. I haven't played Guitar Hero or Rock Band or anything like that in a very long time either. And so I didn't do very well because I was out of practice, and because the controllers that are hooked up to the arcade cabinets are much, much heavier and tougher than the ones that you have like in your house. So it was awkward to hold, and the action on the strum bar was more difficult. So I was just bad. I also got a chance to play Time Crisis poorly and Galaga poorly and all kinds of video games, just completely awfully. And I had some free drinks, and it was great. But yeah, so that's what that was all about.
Apparently that's a thing the boxcar does, because that sounds very similar to the thing that the law school had that I went with Sarah.
Oh, okay.
We played Mario Kart, and I played... They had the Addams Family pinball game.
Oh, yeah, I played some Ghostbusters pinball. I'm really bad at pinball.
Oh, I'm the worst.
On my
Like,
second
the machine
play...
knows that I play, and it just goes ahead and puts the ball right in the return. It's like, you weren't going to play this. Go ahead, Chewie.
Dude, on my second play of the Addams Family game, which is a game I used to play all the time when at Putt Putt in Winston, like thousands of years ago. On my second play, I got a high enough score to get a free ball, or a free game, and I lost my mind.
Awesome.
And then, of course, on my free game, it was like, oh, you lose. I'm like, oh. But I got a free game. Addams Family. It was hot. Yeah, I played the Mario Kart arcade cabinet, which I didn't know was a thing.
I didn't even understand it when you were explaining it to me.
Yeah, if you're a patron, you can hear that on the odds and ends at some point within the week. But yeah, Mike doesn't listen. But it's a separate game. It's not like it's Mario Kart Double Dash, but in an arcade cabinet. No, it's a whole new Mario Kart game that's for arcades. And so that was pretty cool. It also had a camera on it, so you would like line your face up and make a face, and then that's the icon it would put over your head. So the people you were playing with would know it was you. So yeah, I'd know who to launch my shells at, or whatever items I had, because the items are weird. You get 3 like random items that aren't the normal fare. It was a trip, man. And I lost to foosball, and I lost I lost Virtual Fighter. They had the original Virtual Fighter. I was like, oh, gotta play that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was not good. I was trying to do things from like Virtual Fighter 4. No, this is 1, stupid. I was like, so if I do this, I punch once and then I die. Oh, okay, well, hang on. Okay, so then I'll do, haha, that's there. Haha, and then I do this and I'll kick once and then they combo me. I'm like, wait, what? Wrong game. And what else? What else did Sarah pick? Oh, man, we played some Marvel vs. Capcom, like the original Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, wow.
Right? It was old school glorious goodness. I still have some tokens. I have to go back now that I found out that they've moved things around and like changed up the machines, because the Guitar Hero thing wasn't there when I was there.
Yeah, I didn't think far enough ahead. There were a bunch of leftover free tokens in the party room when we were clearing out. I should have taken a fistful of them and stuffed in my pocket to come back later.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, when I was there, Sarah was like, all right, you ready to go? And I was like, well, I got all these tokens. Let me find a kid. She's like, why? I'm like, because when you leave, you give your tokens to a kid. She's like, why? They don't expire. And I went, they don't expire.
Screw you, kid.
It's not like they're tickets that you get from like skee ball or something. These are tokens, man. I always give my tickets to a kid, but yeah, I'm keeping these tokens. Jam, sucker. Anyway, sorry, I jumped into your final thought because I was there recently as well. So
that's good. It was a good supplement to my final thought.
Nice. Oh, was that it then?
Yes, it was.
Oh, fair enough. For my final thought, I don't know, man. I'm tired. I've got like 2.5 hours of Lich King footage to edit into a watchable video. Let's go look. When was that? What's today? Today's the 5th, so these. So that's an hour. That's 37 minutes. That's 24 minutes.
I saw your...
Dear God.
I've seen your videos thus far. I am impressed that you did not go the Jade cheese route against the Lich King with Druid.
The Jade cheese route.
You can make a deck that, because he removes the low-cost minions from your deck, where you basically just have
Jade Idols.
Jade Idols.
I didn't even think of that. I was trying to win, like, honestly.
I know. You still won with Jades, ironically enough. I like the butthole approach, but it was not as butthole as it could have been.
Show him your butthole!
Oh, dear Lord. Don't tell me I started it up again.
Oh, no, my head hurts too much to laugh too hard.
Have
I
you
ended up winning that one with just the deck that I blundered into it to see what the deal was.
Oh, the
It
druid?
was my it was my Quest Cthulhu druid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he fired off his spell, and I'm like, okay, that removed like
Your beckoners.
4 cards from my deck. Yeah.
Nice.
I totally went the cheese route just because I was like, if you're gonna let me do this, and at that point I was frustrated from other classes. I'm like, haha, I know what I'm doing here, and I completely owned all over them.
Yeah. So I have. So what did that come out to be? Yeah, it's just over 2 hours, and that's 3 files, which means at 2 points I stopped the recording because I didn't want it to record me staring at my computer. So yeah, I've got just over 2 hours of footage for the Warrior Lich King fight, which had me frustrated in a different way. Not frustrated like I was with the Mage fight, where this is so unfair and I hate you all. This was frustrated in the I don't know how to win because I can't rush him because he has 160 life. I can't play the long game because of his final hero power that it will kill you. So I was frustrated. I ended up exploiting a loophole, but you'll have to wait for the video to see how I did that.
Which class was that?
Warrior. Be gain 100 armor.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually tried Warrior first.
Oh God.
And yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare.
I didn't beat it that time, that's for sure.
I tried Hunter first.
Oh,
And on turn 1, he shot me for 40 damage. And I just started laughing and laughing.
Guess I'm dead.
Have you done Priest yet, Chewie?
No. I've done the 3 that have been videos and Warrior that hasn't been made yet. I don't want to record too many of them all at once because then the editing task becomes monumental.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like this one. Like I did it on the 2nd. What was the 2nd? The 2nd was Monday. Yeah, I did that before we did Monday. I was going to record like 3 videos that day, and I ended up recording that one. But I haven't had a chance with all the driving and whatnot that I've been doing all week and feeling terrible. I haven't had a chance to actually start the edit yet. But I'm taking tomorrow off. They call me for a drive. I'm dead. I died. Don't call me again until Monday. So that's the plan for tomorrow. But yeah, so that's the thing to look forward to. I also played an excellent game called Dr. Langeskov, the Tiger, and the Terribly Cursed Emerald, a Whirlwind Heist. That's the full name of the game.
That's a long name.
It is, and it was awesome. It was not at all what I expected. It's by the same guy who did the Stanley Parable, and I think I said this on Monday Night Magic. If you know what that game is, then you should have some idea of what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
It's very meta. It's a video that was it's a one shot. Like the game takes 15-20 minutes to complete once. It's very simple, but I'm very proud of it. So much so that I'm actually going to put a link in the show notes to that video because it was such a great and off the wall experience, and it's also free on Steam. So I highly recommend you go try it out yourself and see if you can do things that I didn't manage to. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I'm tired. It's October, so I have to come up with scary games to play. I've got to play through Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location because I didn't get around to it last year. And I kept meaning to play it, just not in Halloween. I got to play that at some point. I just never got around to it. But I just did the park, and that was creepy. So I guess I'll come up with another game or two for this Halloween season. I might do some creepy streaming, play some scary games, crap myself live on Twitch. Yeah,
Sounds good.
It'll be awesome. But anywhere that you want to find what I do on the internet, it's the Mana Pool. So youtube.com/themanapool, twitch.tv/themanapool, Twitter @themanapool, facebook.com/themanapool, and if you want to help support what I do with all of this content creation, then you can check out patreon.com/themanapool, where you can get YouTube videos and Mana Pool episodes early, You can get that and the access to the odds and ends, which is all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Mana Pool that is uncensored and unfiltered and goes up within a week of the episode airing. And then I'm slowly catching up all the backlog that I've fallen way, way behind. But current episodes will be up within a week. The other plan for tomorrow is to get this week's Monday Night Magic odds and ends put together. Hey. And you can get the early stuff, the odds and ends, and get your name on the end slate for videos that go up for each month that you support at that tier. And I'll read your name off on both this show and Monday Night Magic so that more people will know just how awesome you are, rather than the dozens of people who who watch the videos. You can actually get up to the thousands of people who listen to the podcast. Hey,
Nice.
it's weird that the factor of, what's the word I'm looking for? Order of magnitude of different. 2 orders of magnitude of difference there. Huh. Damn, that's eerie. Not much crossover between media, let me just tell you. But yeah, so with that, I've had a headache for 36 hours. This is not a thing that I do. It hurts so bad. I actually took a nap yesterday, and that is definitely not a thing that I ever do. Ever.
Never?
Not if I can help it. Okay, alone, I don't take naps. On the off chance that I ever have a significant other again, I will take naps with them, but I don't just take naps by myself, because I got crap to do. So yeah, but anyway, I will shut up now because we tried to end this episode 40 hours ago. So this has been, I already forgot, 481? Yes, the Mana Pool episode 481. Yeah, thank you all so very much for listening, and go play some pirates apparently.